This is Eric Alexander, Six Arrows Consulting. I'm here today to talk to you about weeds. Now, this doesn't have anything to do with this beautiful background I've got here in our backyard. This is a location actually where the ratio of weeds to wanted plants is quite low. I'm out here today because it's a beautiful morning in the Texas Panhandle and I thought I'd enjoy the coolness of the day before the heat shows up later. So, weeds. Why am I here today to talk about weeds? I was asked one time, did I as a CFO, did I dig into the weeds of what was going on in the finance department? Thought that was an interesting question, and then I thought about two different ways to answer that. One is, if by digging into the weeds, is kind of an interesting metaphor if you think about it, but digging into the weeds, am I in the middle of the details of everything that's going on inside the finance group? Well, the answer to that's easy. Of course not. There's too much going on. Let's presume in my finance group I've got a team of folks that are taking care of things. I need the team because one person can't take care of it all by himself or all by herself. So you need a team to take care of stuff. I need their expertise, I need their capacity, I need their attention. As a CFO, my time, my energy, my attention are limited resources. I'm a finite resource and I can't be doing everything. If I was able to do everything, then one of us is redundant. So of course not down in the details of everything going on inside of the finance department. But there are some weeds where it makes sense for a CFO to go deep. I can think of 4 different categories. The first one, as a CFO, I'm a steward leader. Significant things have been entrusted to my care. And one of the things I do is I get a team around me, a team of professionals, other leaders, clerical staff, folks that help me with those stewardship responsibilities. Throughout history, go back to Old Testament times, people have understood the wisdom and the necessity of good delegation. I'm thinking of Moses in the wilderness, dealing with the stresses of trying to take care of the children of Israel, and his father-in-law Jethro saying, you need good people around you that you can delegate to. Same thing is true for any good leader. When you've got significant responsibilities that are beyond what you handle, you delegate. You take your stewardship leadership and you cascade those responsibility and accountability functions down to other stewards to help you take care of those. So, because you've got people that are helping you steward, you dig deep into the weeds, the details of their character and their competence. You need to know that thoroughly. That's something you don't want to guess about. I won't elaborate there, but number one, you go deep into the weeds about the character and the competence, the trustworthiness of the people on your team that you're entrusting with significant responsibilities. Number one. Number two, now this one may seem a little way to contradict what I just said, but they're actually complementary. Periodically, you, your team, the whole function benefit, your whole finance function will benefit if you will do a spot check in the processes. Go check on some details. They're taking care of it on a routine basis, but you benefit, they benefit by you going in periodically and checking up on the work. Why? Even high character, highly competent people are people. They make mistakes and they benefit from knowing that you will inspect what you expect, that you trust, but you also verify. Now, do you check everything? Of course not. You're doubling up the work, you're redundant. You don't need to do that, but if you periodically spot check, it will let them know that you're paying attention and also give you some insights into what's going on inside there. As CFO, I do this sometimes. We're looking at the financials, we're preparing at the end of the quarter, I'll go spot check a calculation. I expect my team to check my work too. There's nothing offensive about me checking up on their calculation, not all the calculations, but a periodic one or the most material ones to make sure we're in good shape. Or looking at AP. Something's come through the accounts payable system, I wouldn't look at everything. Other people are reviewing and approving those, but I would go in and I'd pull up one and I'd look at it. I'd ask questions about it. When I'm asking questions, that's telling the reviewers, it's telling the people who submitted the invoice, somebody's paying attention. So that's number two. Number three, maybe there's something significant, a big change that's affecting your company, it's affecting your industry. Maybe there's a new gap that's come out that's affecting your finance, or new tax rules, or new regulation, or maybe you're going through a significant transaction, or there's a big contract you're entering into. We'd often see this in the banking world and other worlds too, where you're going into a new system conversion. You need to understand the details, the weeds of what's going on there, how it affects your business, how it affects finance. So those are weeds to dive deep into. Not by yourself. You want your team to come around you and understand as well. You need to make sure your colleagues, other executives, understand as well. But if it's going to have a significant material effect on your function or your company, yes, understand those weeds. One more category. Sometimes you'll find in your business that there is a specific area of your finances or your operations that is perpetually significant, either as an opportunity or as a risk, or maybe both. I worked as a CFO in one organization where, like other companies in that industry, cash flow was super significant. That's true for so many organizations. That meant I needed to be an expert on all aspects of our cash flow. What's going on with accounts receivable? What's going on with payables? How are we doing with our expenses? What kind of operating leverage are we taking on? How are we with debt service? And what are the details of our debt service? I needed to know those weeds. CFO at the bank, we were in a high growth mode. There were lots of different things we paid attention to all the time, but capital was crucial to our growth. That meant I needed to be an expert I needed to master the details and be an expert on the details of capital. I needed to go deep into those weeds because it was significant for the bank. I wasn't the only one, but especially on the regulatory capital rules, I needed to know those well. I needed to master those. So, go into the weeds? It depends. Go into the weeds where it'll have the most significant effect on your stewardship leadership responsibility. It's something to think about. Thanks for listening.